I'm here. I'm late, but I'm here. Hi, Debbie. I don't know if R.C. Scott is still around. He might have left for his job. I don't know. All blessings. Here's all the woo-woos. Do the things. How do I do this? It's been a minute. Joyous time zones, my Sakonauts. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as the Witch of Tylwyth Teg, and welcome to the Magic Monday Witchy Hour. Today, we're just gonna have a talk. Just a little coffee talk. If we haven't met before, I'd like to welcome you to my channel. It is so very nice to meet you. And if you have been here before, it's so lovely to see you back. I love you guys. I'd like to start this morning with a grounding ritual to start your day. This starts near your domain. So if you've not created a domain, you might want to sign up for the newsletter, which is linked below. And I don't send newsletters for my witchy things, which is hilarious because I should. Sit with your hands in your lap and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it for a moment. And as you let it out completely through your mouth, let go of the tension from the night and the grogginess of the morning. Take another deep breath in, and as you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in pure love. And as you breathe out, imagine you are breathing out forgiveness. Take a third deep breath in, and as you do so, imagine a light coming in at the top of your head. It enters at the top of your head and spreads down over your face, neck, and shoulders. This cleansing light now expands along your back, down your legs, and out through your feet. It is as if cleansing light is a constant flow of soothing energy entering from your head and passing out through the arches of your feet. You are just outside the door of your domain. The air is crisp and cool. The evergreens sway slightly in the breeze, and the ground has a large patch of moss at your feet. Step barefoot onto the moss. Feel how soft it is. Feel the solid ground underneath. That light coming into your head can now be translated into energy that you send out through your feet. Convert the light into roots and send the roots out the bottoms of your feet and deep into the earth, as deep as you can. The soil is fresh, easy to toil, easy to carve a path down. Feel how anchored you are, how close to the earth. Reach as far down as you can. The earth hugs your roots comfortably, no matter how sharp or curly, no matter how many times they split off. Slowly pull the roots back up the way they came. The roots slither through the dark, the soil filling in its wake. Pull the roots back into your feet, convert it back to the light, and let the light filter through you and out the top of your head. Take one more deep breath in and begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. Welcome back. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Also, I don't see the emotes. I guess that's on YouTube only. Tarot pull. I have to go get a tarot deck. I will be right back. Okay, I have returned with the Tarot of the Divine. It is a beautiful deck gifted to me by a fellow witch, and every card is a masterpiece. So let's pull a card and see what the author has to say about the things. So how are you guys doing this morning? How are you doing? My week has been, this past week was very stressful, and this morning serves to be no different. Okay, I think this is shuffled enough. Let's see what's up. The Nine of Wands. Spoopy, right? With the Baba Yaga house in the background. Crazy. Oh my gosh. Nothing can be simple. Nothing can be simple. Nine of Wands. Coins. Swords. Wands. Come on. Here we go. Yes, Allie. Absolutely. I'll use a different deck. But yes, I would be happy to throw cards for you. The Nine of Wands represents weathering the battle. Sent by her wicked stepmother to the door of the witch Baba Yaga, Vasilisa the Beautiful stays resilient. She endures Baba Yaga's impossible trials. She is wary and cautious, but also hopeful. So, fatigue, persistence, gathering strength, wounds, and resilience. I usually show a weathered warrior. Oops. When this is probably the prettiest version of this card that I've ever seen. It's a Russian mythos, by the by, in case you didn't know about Vasilisa or the House of Baba Yaga. And No, not about love. I don't do love, death, or pregnancy. So those are like super nefarious topics. I don't want to have anything to do with those topics. All right. Horoscope. 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 Stunning power plays are presently possible. The fiery sun and volcanic Pluto stumble into a quincux at 2:07 p.m. EDT, goading inflated egos to confront one another. As the savvy Libra moon squares underhanded Pluto, subtler strategies like playing the victim could be more appealing than open conflict. Luna also forms a good nature sextile with the sun, so will ideally be able to see the drama for what it is, at least. After the moon enters probing Scorpio, we may want to study it further. And because there aren't many people watching, what's your sign? And I'll do your signs thing. What is going on here? What's your sign? Oh, weird. Hi, Jenny. Is it streaming to Tylwyth Teg, or is it streaming to YouTube? Or Cast Voight, rather. Also, hi, Jenny. Pisces. All right. Pisces. Peer pressure could motivate you to work harder than usual today. As the dynamic sun in your productive 6th house looks to intimidating Pluto in your 11th house of community, you may believe everyone else is much more accomplished than you are. Although this impression probably isn't accurate, you're not likely to get a straight answer if you ask for clarification. Others might have their own reasons for keeping a particular story going. Just do your best until the drama blows over. Okay. Because I did this, but it's showing Cast Voight. I'm confused. I don't know. It's too early in the week for me to tell. And now for the coffee talk. All right. So Venus just came out of retrograde, and I gotta tell you, it beat me up. Kibby was seeing, like, people actually, like, how do I put this? Karma is paying out, right? This past retrograde of Venus, like, karma was paying out, and whether it's fuck around and find out time. And even those that didn't fuck around still paid out, still suffered at the hands of Venus. So if you've had a particularly nasty summer, like, that's not your fault. It wasn't anything that you did. Yeah. Yeah. It was particularly nasty. So this is recovery time, right? What's our moon look like? I think it's like at a half moon. Where's my phone? I have an app that tells me. It is a waxing crescent, but it is still a lovely time to take care of yourself. I know, and I don't mean like taking baths and wearing face masks and putting oil in your hair and stuff like that. I mean, that's fine and dandy and like kind of like helping the external part of you, but find things that like get your heart going. You know what I mean? Like do things that make you feel good inside. Replenish those spoons. I know times have been super hard lately, but please to be taking care of yourself. All right. Normally I would talk about some kind of subject. I do have Magpie Training, the Black Feather Mystery School, Book 1 by Irene Glass and Kane Dreamwalker, who are local witches or spiritualists, I shall say. I'm going to pick a random page, and I'll read it, and we'll talk about it. The move and the new job and the new puppy are progress to make me happier. I am so glad. Yay, new puppy. Being able to move on is going to be really hard, but you can remember him through the puppy. Puppy will help. Okay, beginning journey work. Ooh. Your instructor is Kane, and this chapter should take 2 to 3 hours to go through. Because it has like exercises in it and stuff. Take a look around you. All around you is stuff. Even the human bodies we inhabit right now are just complex configuration of basic elements that you can find in any high school chemistry lab. What you are seeing is only a part of a much larger whole, a much bigger picture that includes existential truths to which our 5 mundane senses just cannot connect. Reality is not purely created of physical, tangible stuff. It's deeper than that, and much like onions and ogres, it exists in layers. So many of us go our entire lives living in a half-lie, missing out on the hidden truths of our existence. In this lesson, we are going to take a look behind the curtain. You will get to glimpse into a part of reality not often seen. Understand, though, that this isn't even the tip of the iceberg. Wonderland is only the first stop down the rabbit hole. The skills we will be going over are meant to let you open the door so that you may begin what I hope will become one of the most rewarding journeys of your spiritual practice. I'm all about journeying. Journeying is great stuff. Now, I'm at this dangerous precipice in that, is it escapism, or am I trying to learn about my shadow, or am I mean, like, there's so many questions regarding my journey work these days. I think I've been using it as escapism, which isn't great. It's good to have a quest or a goal before you start journeying, and like, I'm having a harder and harder time coming up with those goals. All right. States of consciousness. The first thing to understand about journeying is that it requires us to shift out of an ordinary state of consciousness. One of my favorite sayings is, "It is the spirit worker's job to hallucinate on command in order to see which others cannot." There are a lot of different ways that we can get ourselves into that particular state of consciousness. In the past, many of the methods involved ingesting potentially dangerous combinations of herbs, roots, and fungi in order to force our brains to let go of ordinary consciousness. It worked great, but carried an unnecessary cost that we no longer have to pay. Thanks to science, we have a deeper understanding of how our brains work and how to manipulate them safely into producing the same state of altered awareness that once took the rolling dice with our health to achieve. Meditation and altered consciousness require a specific pattern in our brains. In our normal state of consciousness, we exist in what is referred to as the beta wave state. Here, our brains are humming along at approximately 14 to 30 cycles per second. Sorry, my pages are together. In the beta state, we are active, alert, and interacting with the world around us. This means anything from reading a chapter about spirit work to laying on your car horn in rush hour traffic. In the beta state, we are much less likely to be aware of subtle energies. We are essentially distracted by our own brain activity and solidly existing within the physical realm. Following me so far? Tell me post beta in the chat to let me know that you're listening. Cool. Jenny's with me. How about the rest of you guys? All right. So there's alpha and theta, right? So let's go into alpha. The next stage of brain activity is referred to as alpha state. Alpha is a bit slower, 9 to 13 cycles per second, or CPS, and is what I would refer to as relaxed awareness. In this state, we are lucid and aware, but not actively using our brain. We are, in essence, a car at a stoplight. The engine is running, but not forcing anything to happen. Often we get here when we take a moment to relax. Sitting out in nature, laying in a bathtub with a glass of wine and some chocolate, and quietly waiting in line at the grocery store are all good examples of an alpha wave state. On the lowest end, closer to 9 CPS, is where we often experience those moments of being spaced out. It's where you sit on autopilot long enough that your brain stops recording and just kind of skips over the last few seconds or minutes. Around this frequency is also where people tend to begin to see the edges where the physical and the metaphysical realities overlap. Things move in the corners of our vision. Soft sounds that aren't quite there may catch our attention and be gone in an instant because it was just enough to nudge our brain waves back upward into a more alert state of consciousness. So that was alpha, right? Now we talk about theta. Theta. There we go. I can voice and do things. Then we have the theta wave state. At somewhere between 3 to 9 CPS, our very perception of reality can make a huge shift. Those things living just outside of focus can suddenly be looked at directly in the eyes, or some approximation of eyes. This is the liminal space between being awake and asleep. It is where we find ourselves when we are drifting off and suddenly feeling as if we're falling. The theta wave state is the journey work state of consciousness. There we go. Here we are not only aware of other realms, but able to traverse their endless landscapes, beginning a process of discovery and empowerment that will easily last the rest of this lifetime. Theta is the wave state of gnosis, right? That is one thing that he's not mentioning. Is gnosis is that hypnagogic or that, that twilight sort of consciousness, right? If you dissociate or if you space out a lot or stuff like that, you can actually use that to your advantage. It is important to understand that things you see and do while journeying are very, very real. It is through journeying that I do my work as a healer. By stepping from ordinary consciousness, I am able to do things, in other words, that affect people right here in this one. Proficiency takes training and practice, but the fact remains that what you experience during a journey can and will follow you back to ordinary reality. Much like being in the real world, there are both great rewards and potentially terrible consequences. The trick to avoiding bad things happening while journeying is exactly the same as it is here in the material realm. Make good choices. If we drive while drunk, well, we could crash. If we get in a stranger's car, we could end up in a dusty basement putting lotion on our skin. Smoking can cause cancer. Too much chocolate is why we'll never be skinny. If a spirit you know nothing about asks you to offer it your blood so it can teach you secrets, it's a good opportunity to practice boundary setting. If you walk into a dark alley and find a glass bottle of glowing liquid, you wouldn't drink it without at least sniffing it first. The same applies in the other realms. Ask questions even if they seem obvious. Don't sign a single contract without reading the fine print, and you'll do just fine. Now, within the theta state, you can access the up, the down, and the in-between, as he puts it. There is no known limit to the places that one might see while journeying. However, there is a general understanding of 3 basic realms of existence. I tend to look at them more like directions toward which one can travel. Although the inner workings of journeying are a little more complicated than this, we can basically go up, down, and side to side. I hope you don't drink the liquid at all. Yeah, I know, right? It would go terribly. Oh my gosh, I'm stuck. Hold on. There we go. Where was I? Although the inner workings of journeying are a little more complicated than this, we can basically go up, down, and side to side. Right. Those correspondences come with 3 general accepted titles. Well, we're going in pretty deep here. So I don't know how much longer you want me to read this. So the up, down, and side to side, similar to astral projection. Exactly like, and you know, astral projection is definitely a part of journeying, for sure. You're just sending it to other places. All right. Going down means you're going to the underworld, or the lower realm. The underworld is rife with raw magical energies, spirits, and lost knowledge. It is here where spirit workers meet a majority of their helpers and do most of their self-work. It is important to understand that we always begin our path as a healer by healing ourselves. Self-understanding and empowerment is vital to being able to help others. The underworld contains most of what we will need in order to do that work. You can also find some deities and ancestor spirits in this realm. The further down you go, the less tangible things will be seen. As I mentioned before, everything is in layers. The first stop is generally something that looks like a natural landscape. Beneath that, you're likely to find something akin to caves or tunnels or vastly deep bodies of water. As you travel further down, you may run into areas of pure energy. It can feel a bit like swimming through static. Under the underworld exists a wellspring of raw creation. This powerful source is sentient, and it is what we draw upward when we pull energy from below. I would not call traveling to it a beginner's project. You want to wait until you feel comfortable journeying in places that seem familiar. A forest can seem familiar even if we run into the Cheshire Cat. A purely discorporeal plane of existence, within which time, space, and you have no real definition, not so much. Going up means traveling to the upper world, also called the ascended plane. This is a place where you are most likely to run into beings of light, deities, and ancestors. So you can use your meditation that starts with your domain and work your way to wherever you want to go. That is how I do it. I like having a home base. I am tinkering with the idea of like finding some real estate in the underworld or the middle world. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about like moving my domain from locally into somewhere external. I've been kind of tinkering with it for a few years, but I haven't found the right place. I found one place that would have been perfect, but like it was in a bad neighborhood and it already had its own denizens and like kind of, I don't know. Just seemed like a bad idea. Okay, so we were talking about it is possible to find helpers and guardians here, but not nearly as likely as the underworld. As a spirit worker, most of my time spent in the upper world is limited to having conversations on behalf of other people. There are always exceptions to the rules when it comes to spirit, though, and I have a workstation in the upper realm where I perform some of the work I do. Oh. If the lower realm contains knowledge, the upper realm contains wisdom. The lower realm is raw, the upper realm is organized and refined. Neither is better than the other. Both certainly have their place, even if you prefer to work more with the kind of energy than the other. With one kind of energy than the other. It is definitely valuable to recognize the importance of both. Again, the further you travel, the less familiar things will become. It is definitely possible to travel upward to a point where you will find yourself at an infinitely powerful source of sentient energy. I am not one to speak in definitives when it comes to things like spirit. This energy has wonderful healing properties, and it is from here that we draw down light to help ourselves and others be well. Last, we can move side to side. This is often referred to as the middle realm. It is just on the other side of the veil, the boundary that separates the visible and tangible from the invisible and non-tangible, and home to everything from the fae to lost souls. It is also where parasitic shells and shell fragments float around looking for hosts. He's not wrong. The middle realm is an easy place to do direct healing work for other people. Traveling here is a great way to connect with the genius loci, or lord of the land. When we experience spirits while in beta or alpha brainwave states, it is usually because they are in the middle realm. Those are the moments that I mentioned earlier where it can seem you could see a shadow if it would just hold still. Since I was a child, I could hear others that were not on the realm. Yeah. I did a lot when I was a kid, too. I eventually blocked it out because it was overwhelming. Ditto. I've recently been thinking of opening it up again. It can be really stressful. I find it overwhelming. I can listen to multiple conversations at once, but to have to do that all the time and more than 3 conversations, it's a bit much. So be wary of opening up again. And go slowly. Yeah, I got you. Riding the horse, which is basically how you journey, how you get there. I mentioned earlier that we have much better ways to reach theta wave state than swallowing poison. Thankfully, due to the combination of science and cross-culturalism, we now know that we can use something as simple as a good drum beat to alter our brainwaves. Other things such as dance, staring into firelight, and some practices involving chanting or singing can get us there. A lot of it has to do with training and figuring out what works best for you. In this lesson, we are going to be using drumming to draw your brainwaves into a state that will hopefully allow you to experience the journeying state of a consciousness. Drumming is a powerful primal sound, and it tends to do very well at triggering instinctive reactions. The sound of a journey drum is compared to a horse's hooves clapping on the ground, and it is often referred to as riding the horse. I have never heard that before. That association of listening to a herd of horses galloping can evoke some pretty powerful feelings. There's some important points to understand before we begin. And we're not actually going to journey today. I'm just reading from the thing. We're not we're not going to journey today. Thunderstorms. Yeah. It depends on the drumming for me. Yeah, it depends on the drumming. The shamanic drumming that you find on YouTube is not enough for me. I do use Skeed for theta wave frequencies and drones and stuff. So if a drone helps you reach that state, because it does me, then I strongly recommend Skeed. First, not everyone experiences journeying the same way. Some people can see, some people have a sense for what is happening around them, but no visual cues. Some people are only able to hear. Some have a fully immersive experience. Right on. I know a handful of healers for whom journeying is an internal narration akin to listening to an audiobook. None of these experiences are better or worse than the other. No matter how you receive it, it is much more useful to focus on what is there than to allow yourself to get caught up in wondering what you're missing. It is my position that the universe will present itself to you in a way that you can receive. So if all you are getting is smells, the chances are good that you probably already better at interpreting scent than most of the population. Most people experience fragmented versions of our 5 basic senses. Journeying is also a cumulative. Oh my God, I can't speak. Exercise. The more you do it, the more strongly you are able to experience it. If you start off with If you start off with a lot of fuzzy images during the following exercises, within a few months of practice, you will probably see very clearly. More than anything, try simply to allow yourself to enjoy the wonder of experiencing these other planes of existence. This is the cool part of being a spirit worker. Let yourself have fun. Next, there are 3 phases to the journey, which are marked by 3 distinct drum patterns. The first is the intention setting. It is best to use a slow drumming pattern here that repeats 3 times and allows for you to set your intention very clearly with each repetition. The second is the journey and will consist of a steady rhythm somewhere between 200 beats a minute. This can go for any amount of time. The typical journey lasts between 10 and 30 minutes. I set a timer for 20 because, for one, you can accomplish an intense amount of work in 20 minutes. I strongly recommend not doing more than 30. Strongly recommend. Because after I journey, I need recovery time. I need to take care of myself in that I need to eat a meal and take a shower and take a nap and like all of those things, and take care of myself. I like bananas and chocolate, really, when I come back. Super, super nice. The third phase is called, oh, wait a minute. For the purpose of this chapter, our journeys are only going to last about 5 minutes at a time. Yes, aftercare. Thank you. Best word. The third phase is called the callback. At this point in the journey, the rhythm will shift suddenly and become more erratic. It is meant to stimulate your brain and begin increasing your brain waves so that you can come back to an ordinary state of consciousness. This is a time when you should wrap up whatever it is that you're doing during the journey and travel back to your body. Please note that the distance does not work the same way in spirit that it does here. Even if you feel as if you have traveled millions of miles from your body, you need only a moment to will yourself back. Also, I strongly recommend sending out a ping for any parts of you that you might have left behind and call that back to you, parts of your soul, parts of your spirit. I have found a couple of times that I have left stuff behind. Recordings of the journey drumming are available at the Black Feather Mystery School /recordings. For this exercise, we'll be using 5-minute journey drumming track. How cool is this? Say each intention to yourself 3 times during the intention setting phase of the recording. So again, that is Kane Dreamwalker wrote that chapter. And this is Magpie Training Black Feather Mystery School Book 1. Book 2 is in progress. So you can expect that very soon. And I'm not a beginner, but there are things in here that are super not beginner. I will try and update the description to include a link to the book, or I'll post it in my Discord. It is very lovely. It's a lovely guide and kind of walks you through. The part that I didn't read is where it walks you through journeying. So the way they open the chapters is that sorry, I got a message. I strongly recommend it. It is a book written by local friends of mine, and I learned about shape-shifting from this book, which is something that I've been tinkering with this last couple times. I should do that again. I use kind of like a wheel of random, so it'll like randomize color and randomize animal and all of that, and I randomize breed, and I have a silver fox and a pink bat. I like the fox more. You would think I would like to fly, but I don't. So if you get the opportunity to journey and because I do a lot of my witchy work in my domain being, hold on, banners, domain. If you haven't been to your domain in a long ass time, I strongly recommend taking some time today or tonight or sometime this week maybe, and kind of like touching base with your base. Like checking the locks and seeing what the garden looks like and stuff like that. Okay, I think I am going to wrap up the stream. Thank you all for joining me. I think we learned a little bit about journeying today. And I've never heard it explained like that, which is really cool because that works in my paradigm. And I'm feeling better. The cough tends to tear me out of any kind of meditation. Yeah, I gotcha. If you like this video at any point, I encourage you to hit the like button. And if you want to see more streams like this one, you can usually catch me on Monday mornings. I will usually have a subject. And I guess today's subject was journeying. I'll have to change the title of the video. Yeah. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.